Biden's $10,000 loan forgiveness scheme has once again thrust the value of a college degree into the center of public debate.
It's tough to still be paying so much in loans every year.
According to the College Board, the average out-of-state cost for a student attending a four-year college is $149,720 when including tuition, books, and room and board. The prices are lower for community colleges and higher for private and for-profit colleges, but the out-of-state four-year college is a pretty typical experience for most people taking this path. $150,000 is a lot of money for a young adult to be playing around with, especially when students are taking on debt to fund the expense.
So my American dream is pretty simple. My American dream is just not living paycheck to paycheck.
But most don't look at a college degree as a frivolous purchase. It's an investment that will produce stronger returns over a working career. The data still backs this up. The cost of a college degree has increased significantly, but just by the numbers, it is still a good investment, with a typical college graduate earning $650,000 more than a typical high school graduate over the course of their career, according to a Pew Research study. But just because something is a good investment doesn't mean that there aren't better investments available. So it's time to learn how money works to find out how good a college degree is according to the numbers and explore some alternative investments. This week's lesson was brought to you by Stamps.com. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS right to your computer. This holiday season is approaching us fast, and I'm getting ready to send out some gifts, year-end paperwork, and maybe some upcoming How Many Works swag. Luckily, Stamps.com has everything I need to navigate this insane holiday season. It's a 24/7 post office that you can access from anywhere. No lines, no traffic, no hassle. If you're a business owner or responsible for shipping large amounts of packages or letters, you should use Stamps.com. With inflation on the rise, every dollar counts, and you need to be doing everything you can to protect your margins. Fortunately, Stamps.com provides major discounts on USPS and UPS of up to 86% off. Get ahead of the holiday chaos this year. Get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up at stamps.com/howmoneyworks for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts.
Nice.
Just go to stamps.com/howmoneyworks. Thanks to Stamps.com for sponsoring this video. Now, is college a good investment? Well, by the numbers, if you think you would be a typical student, then no. The $650,000 in additional income you would earn over a 40-year career from an initial investment of $150,000 works out to be an annualized ROI of 3.5%, which as far as investments go, is shit. Investing that $150,000 into a broad market equities portfolio would generate returns of $9.3 million over the same 40-year time horizon, assuming historic market returns. You might think it's unfair to assume historic market returns, but by that logic, it would also be unfair to assume the historic value of a college degree, so we have to work with the figures we got. Using this strategy, a 4-year college degree would need to cost less than $10,000 for the $650,000 in additional income to match market expected returns. Cheap colleges do exist, and going to a local school can save you a lot of money on accommodations if you are fortunate enough to be able to stay with your parents. $10,000 is a stretch, but with scholarships and assistance programs, it is possible. However, passive investing has some other advantages besides the mad gains. Setting aside and forgetting a stock portfolio until you retire literally requires you to do nothing. If you drop out of your college degree, decide that you hate the career you chose, or develop an injury or illness that makes you unable to work, then your college degree effectively becomes useless. An investment portfolio, on the other hand, doesn't care what you do with your life.
What?
As long as it stays in the market, it should be making you money. For all of you canceling your college applications right now, consider this as well. The earnings gap only factors in the price of attending college. It doesn't factor in the 4 years of earnings you would get by working a job instead of studying.
Come on, dude.
Today's typical high school graduate aged 18 to 24 with no further education is paid an average of $23,000 per year working full-time, according to Pew Research. That's close to $100,000 in foregone earnings in the 4 years of college, assuming the student does not have a part-time job. If they did, the earnings gap would still be there, it just wouldn't be as wide. But that's not even the best part. A lot of these statistics are based off of samples from the population of high school graduates and the population of college graduates. As with figures derived from a sample population, they are prone to selection bias. People that meet the requirements and make the decision to go to college are on average more likely to have ambitions of high-earning careers than those who do not go to college or do not meet the requirements to do so. Now certainly, there are plenty of college students who are not very ambitious at all, and there are people who don't even graduate high school who hustle like crazy to make money. But on average, the college crowd are going to be more money motivated than the dropouts. That means if you are a motivated individual that's going to pick a non-college career path based off earnings potential, then you are likely to close the $650,000 earnings gap between high school and college graduates significantly.
I don't know, man. That sounds like a lot of work.
So why the f aren't people doing this? If you hadn't guessed by now, there are some problems with just letting your college tuition fund ride in the stock market for 40 years. Sometimes, gross returns are not the only thing an investor needs to consider. A college degree does offer some advantages in addition to its ability to qualify you for higher paying jobs. It can also qualify you to more comfortable jobs.
Going to college is like a safety net.
The TV show Dirty Jobs ran for 9 seasons between 2003 and 2012, and in its 179 episodes, a lot of the featured jobs earned very good money, and very few of them required a college degree. If you want to make money without a college degree, there are options available to you, especially if you are willing to work your ass off outdoors in smelly, hot, dangerous conditions doing hard labor that will wreck your body before your investment portfolio has had time to make you a millionaire. Or you could work equally hard in a temperature-controlled office pushing paper around a desk all day. You might think it's hard to put a nominal value on such a subjective difference, unless you went and got yourself a finance degree, in which case you will be qualified to assign your own multiple and conduct your own calculations accordingly. Being the richest person in the graveyard is pointless, and to many, a college degree is just as much an investment in being able to dedicate their lives to work they enjoy as much as it is an investment to make more money. Lifestyle during your working career must also be considered purely based on finances as well. An investment portfolio returning 10% annualized returns makes money like this, almost nothing for the first 3 decades and then huge wealth being generated in the last 10 years. Either of these return patterns are fine if all you want to do in life is save for retirement. But if you want to travel, buy a house, raise a family, or generally live life, then you are going to need a more consistent stream of income like a higher monthly paycheck. The pure investment strategy also wouldn't work for everybody. The stock market only provides returns when smart, hardworking people innovate to make the companies they work for more profitable. Innovation can come from anywhere, but it does largely come from people who are well educated. If everybody just front-loaded their life savings into the market and kicked back for the next 40 years, then there would be nobody left to generate any returns. Still, that doesn't matter for you. As long as enough suckers still buy into the college career dream, you could still make the plan work for yourself.
All right then. Let's do it.
Now you just need to find $150,000.
Holy crap!
Raising this money to go to college is easy. The federal government and a long list of private companies give out loans to students every year to fund their tuition and expenses while studying. Because student loans are extremely difficult to discharge through bankruptcy, the organizations lending the money feel comfortable giving tens of thousands of dollars to an 18-year-old kid. The federal government, unfortunately, does not give out 6-figure loans to people that want to front-load their retirement savings. So automatically, that cuts out the 68% of students that were going to make this payment by taking on a loan. Another 7% of students get through college thanks to scholarships that eliminate the cost of tuition. Unfortunately, scholarship money cannot be YOLO'd into the stock market. The remaining 25% would have to convince their parents that their investment strategy was a better use of their college fund than, actually going to college. Probably a tough sell to mom and dad, who have been saving that money away for 18 years. Also, if you do decide to go to college, you might learn enough about statistics to recognize the mistake I made a few minutes ago.
Okay, you got me.
I assume that because you are watching this video on how to extract the most money possible out of your working and investing career, that you are strongly motivated by how much money you could make by going or not going to college. That assumption wasn't a mistake. But what was is what I said about selection bias. If you have a heavily money-motivated individual without a college degree, you shouldn't be compared to the average person with a college degree. You should be compared to someone with a college degree who is also heavily money-motivated. The top 10% of high school graduates easily out-earns the average college graduate. But the gap between the top 10% from both of these categories is even wider than the $650,000 Pew Research figure that we have been basing this study around. There are lots of college degrees that lead to jobs with low earnings potentials, and a lot of people don't mind that, because they just want to build a career around something like teaching or the performing arts. Is college a good investment? It can be, and it's potentially the best investment available to a lot of young people. Not because it makes them better and more valuable workers, but because it gives them access to incredible leverage through big loans without the possibility of a margin call. Obviously, this video is not to be taken too seriously, but I actually think this can be a great way for young students to think about their career options. If college is an investment, then you should treat it like an investment. If you were investing $1,000 in a stock on Robinhood, then you would look at the data, assess the industry that the company operates in. What does the future of the industry look like? How expensive is the stock? What are its earnings? Is the stock overhyped? Will the company still be around in 20 years' time, or will it be made redundant by new technology? Is there a cheaper way to get exposure to the same industry? People put a lot of time and effort into making decisions when they see their money is on the line. But pick a college degree based on what school has the prettiest grounds or the best football team. College is a 5 or 6 figure investment, and it should be treated as seriously as any other investment of the same size. And a big part of making good investments is assessing the alternatives. Sometimes it's okay to admit that a college tuition fund would be better spent as a deposit on the first home, or even invested into the market where it has decades to compound into a fortune. Oh, but I probably should have mentioned to you that you would probably screw it up anyway, because